or are you more likely to make an error doing the product rule and then plugging into the quotient rule? And both of them are a completely valid way of doing the problem. And honestly, the question you should ask yourself is which one is less work, and then just do that.
Yeah.
In my opinion, whenever you have a 2 times 3, that means you have to write down 6 terms. And to me, at that point, right, because you have to multiply each of the 2 terms by the other 3 terms. To me, that probably ends up being more work than just doing the product rule.
Maybe it's also
but
more
it's totally up to you.
It's a little bit more
Aesthetic.
It's something I've done more.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's a totally reasonable reason to do things. If you're comfortable, that's a great thing to,
Because you could just put it into a grid and foil it that way.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a totally, like I said, I think that's a totally reasonable way to do that, and then to just plug that in. That said, I think it is good to develop some comfort with the product rule, so you're going that way.
Well, I found an answer for 2A.
Okay.
But I don't know. It could be entirely wrong. And because I've done varying levels of simplifying on some of the steps.
Don't simplify.
Gotcha.
So, let me tell you about what I care about from this perspective, or from my perspective, what I would care about and where most of the points will come on the exam, is if I see that you wrote down some, here, I'll share my screen. No matter how you did this, if I see that you wrote down, okay, f of x is the thing on the top, and you may have foiled it out or you may have left it like that. So I'm just going to leave it like it is because I don't want to foil, but you could replace this with the foiled expression if you want. If you write this and you write f prime of x and it's a reasonable, a derivative, you may have made an algebra mistake or whatever, it's not a big deal. As long as I see that you're doing the product rule to compute it, if you do it this way, I did the product rule backwards, but it doesn't matter. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever like that. And I see that you wrote g of x, and that's your bottom expression. And I see that you wrote some derivative expression for that. And then I see that you plugged these things into the derivative expression. I saw you wrote out the quotient rule, f prime g minus g prime f all over g squared. And I saw you plugged whatever you had in up here, even if it was slightly off, into this expression. That's probably 80 to 90% of the points, because I can clearly see from the answer that you communicated to me, you know how to do the product rule, you know how to do the quotient rule, and you know how to use them in conjunction. So I wouldn't worry about it if there's small algebra errors.
Okay.
Because, right, if anyone other than me ever gives you this question in the rest of your life, what are you going to do? Are you going to do this process out, or are you going to go plug it into a calculator, right? I mean, It would be like if I asked you to write out the multiplication table after you had sort of finished learning the multiplication table. You just wouldn't do it. You'd use a calculator, right? Or some sort of software to do it. And that's what I would expect you to do for the rest of your life. I mean, I think it's good that you can see how the rules interact together so that you kind of understand what your answer is doing. But, they're going to use a calculator, so, I don't care if you're a little bit off and down. There's small errors in there. That's my feeling on the matter.
Yeah, it's like you need to learn how to get the quadratic equation, for example, and then when you're done working with all of that, you just use a calculator to find roots.
Exactly, 100%. Right, I think that's a great analogy, and that's my philosophy. Okay, well, class is over. It is 4 p.m. on Friday. I'm happy to stick around for a couple minutes if anyone has questions, but I'll be in the main lobby. But yeah, I hope you guys have super great weekends, and I'll see you guys on Monday.
Can you check my you too? Can you check my 126? I'll share my.
Yeah. You can share it. And I'll take a look.
Yep, it's.
I need to stop sharing. Yeah.
Oh, it's the 4th page.
Oh, did you share the Jamboard with me?
Yeah. sorry. I'm working on my iPad. I don't know how to.
No, that's great. I think you may be unable to. Let's take page what?
Not page. Sorry. The question 326. For the worksheet.
Which page should I be looking at?
Oh, you can look at the
Oh,
worksheet.
126, 126. I see. Sorry.
My bad.